Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. So we are going to discuss about the Security Operations Center in today's session. What is SOC and how the SOC operations work. So as per our previous discussions, we have already discussed about the cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity or IT security is a technique, is a method, is a technology of protecting an IT assets. That can be a computers, networks, programs, applications, data from unauthorized access or attack that aim for exploitations. So the attackers always try to find out the vulnerabilities in the applications or network in order to take an access. So in order to secure that, where the cybersecurity works. So in that, the SOC is taking the major place. The SOC is working as a centralized unit which monitor different list of assets and protect them from different type of attacks. So let's understand how the SOC works. So as per our discussion, the Security Operations Center is a dedicated site where the enterprise information systems, like it can be any assets, website, applications, database, data centers, servers, network, desktop, or it can be other endpoints, are monitored, asset and defended. So SOC team have an operations that find out what are the malicious activities happens in any IT assets. So SOC operations works in the live environment. The team will need to have to carry out the missions whenever any incident arises. So the phase where the SOC has the opportunity to show the value that provide to the businesses. It means like whenever any incident happens, there is an SOC team which are very responsive team. Immediately they'll detect those incidents and a ticket will open and the case will investigate it. Now whenever any incident happens, what exactly it means by an incident? Incident can be considered that can be a risk to organization. So every incident have a different impact. It depends upon the asset criticalities, like how we onboarded the assets. So what are those assets? What are the list of assets are there? And what are their criticalities? In criticalities are nothing but which are the most valued asset, which are the less valued assets. So based on that, where there are the particular severity will assign. So these incidents have a different type of severities based on the criticalities of the assets. So in the form of critical, major, it can be high or it can be low. Based on that, there is the level of team need to be get response in order to handle this incident. So there are many part of team will be involved. Maybe someone can be an external to the SOC team, as in there's a part of the organization, but that can be a third party actors. So we'll be concerned depending upon the nature, extent, and the severity of the incident. So different level of escalations matrix will work. It depends upon the severities of those particular incident, leading to be possible CSIRT teams like cybersecurity incident response team need to be get involved in order to handle this particular incident. So could be put into the one place and team must collaborate, leverage and use available tool procedure till the closure of this case take place. So let's have a look on this, like how those operations works, what exactly the SOC it means. So as per discussion, what is SOC? SOC is a Security Operations Center, as we know that. So it's a centralized unit with an organization that responsible for monitoring, managing the security incident of the organizations. So the primary goal of a SOC is to detect, analyze, response, mitigate, minimize the cybersecurity incidents. So they are using the technologies like SIEM. What is SIEM? The SIEM is nothing but Security Information Event Management. So SIEM is the tool which collect the data from multiple sources. If I'll show you, there is a SIEM example, IBM QRADAR. If you can see that this is an IBM QRADAR, this is one of the SIEM tool here. So if we log in here in the SIEM tool, we're going to collect the different data from multiple sources here. So it depends upon the list of assets which we are onboarded. Based on that, the SIEM tool will collect the data here. So this data comes in the form of logs or events. So here, if we can click on this, you can see that there are the several activities happens on the assets which we have been collecting here. So this is a SIEM tool which collecting the data from multiple sources. So let's have a look on this, how it works and what sort of data we get it and how we're going to respond to those incidents here. It's taking a bit time. All right, we are here. So here we can see that these are the information logs we are getting from the particular assets. So we get the different type of log sources from where we are collecting this data. This data is nothing but the logs or event that happens on the particular organization's assets. What are the activity they perform on those assets? That's are recorded in the form of logs or event that are sending to the SIEM tool here. So let's have a look on this. So as we know that when we have been working as a SOC, depending upon the organization's assets, that can be a website, that can be applications, that can be database, data centers, servers, network or desktops, or it can be other endpoints. They are sending all the logs to the SIEM tool here. So based on that, where the SIEM tool work. So this is all the technology which can be used: IDS, IPS, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention systems. We have firewalls, we have EDRs, endpoint detections response, email gateway, wrap services, vulnerability scanners, and so on. So if I'll show you what are the assets can be there, what are the list of assets can be there in an organization. So if we'll see that this is the list, the asset list can be there. This is just an sample report, if you can see that. So we have some network devices here. So the network devices can be these are like firewalls, routers, switches, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, proxies, load balancers, VPN devices. All those are been considered as network devices. We have different type of servers that can be a Windows servers, Linux server, Unix servers, different database servers, web servers, right? They have been maintaining it. We have the endpoints. There are the different workstations right there. There are the different laptops, printers, applications related information. That can be a security software. It can be the EDRs. It can be the antivirus. It can be the anti-malware technologies, email gateways, email servers. It can be IAM devices, like IAM system switches can be given an access to the users. There are the different custom applications can be there in the organization. So this is comes under the asset called as an application. So we have the cloud services. So organizations use multiple cloud services that can be for the storing, processing, or it can be a pool of computers they use. So that can be of SaaS logs, like it can be IaaS logs, it can be PaaS log. So infrastructure as a services, software as a services, there is a platform as a services, and so on. So AWS, Azure, GCPs, we have different platforms that may can be onboarded in an organization, and those data we can collect it here. We're gonna see the user activities. So there are the different authentications logs, Active Directory logs, user account management logs, authentications log, LDP, LDAP, or it can be Kerberos logs. So there are several user activities logs we can select here. We have web and email contains. So email gateways we monitor what type of phishing attacks is happening, what type of emails are getting in and out. So those all informations can be able to see by SOC operations. There's a vulnerability scanners tools where find out different type of vulnerabilities. We're going to see the logs periodically, how those vulnerability scans has done, and what sort of information are there. So this is the assets can be there in the organizations, and it depends upon the different organizations have a different business size. Based on that, this asset list can be created. So these integrations can be done. So there are the different type of integrations are there in this SOC operations. We're going to do this integration in further sessions in practical. I'm going to show you how we can integrate, how we can collect the data from these sources here. So if I'm selecting endpoints as Windows servers, so if I want to collect the data from Windows servers, how we can collect the data and how we can send this data to the SIEM tools here. So we are collecting the data in the form of events and logs. So there are the several events and logs we are collecting from these SIEM tools, and these logs are sending to the SIEM, and SIEM is generating an alert. So how the SIEM is generate the alert? So based on the rules. So there are the different type of rules are there which need to be get added. So these rules define conditions. it can be a correlations rules, it can be inbuilt rules, it can be the event rules. So there are the certain conditions need to be get matched that's prove that this is a suspicious activities. So the events get match with the rules which has been defined here. Based on this we get an alert, and these alert need to be get investigated. So these investigations, while we are doing it, the investigation process, we come into the conclusion is a true positive or false positive. If I'll say the true positive, that need to be taken actions, false or positive need to be get ignored here. So this is how where the security analyst works. So once we got it, investigation process here, we're going to respond to those incidents, and finally the threat ticket will get closed. So whenever we talk about the incidents, every incident, whenever we talk about it, so these incidents have the severities here. So incident have different level of severities. Now what does this severity means? How the severities will be there. So these severities depends upon the asset list. What are the asset valued? So it can be a critical, or it can be a high, or it can be a medium, or it can be low. It depends upon the asset list where the severities can be there. If I'll show you some example of this, so let me just take you to the one of the SIEM tool here. So these SIEM tools are giving us some of a list where you can get an exactly how those criticalities can be there here. So let me show you that. All right, so here we can see that this is how where we have critical, high, medium, and low. This is the alerts. So when we have these alerts based on the criticalities of these assets, where we can see this alert. So whenever we talk about any incident, there are the different type of the severities are there, and based on these severities where we need to respond. There is a process called as a priority. So we'll discuss how those priority and severities can be operated and how the SOC operations will take place. Hope these sessions give you valuable information about how the SOC operations works and how they're going to respond to the incident and what sort of true positive or false positive action is taking place. Thank you very much. See you in the next session.